music and music business and music industry, and streaming has become a big part of that because it's overtaking the way people consume music outside of radio. Of course, radio hasn't been impacted by streaming. Sales have been impacted by streaming. People are still listening to the radio as much. I have to throw this out there every time because I know there's a negative feeling towards the word radio. Radio stations, rebranding themselves as audio and media companies and all this crazy stuff. Okay. But the fact of the matter is people are still listening to the radio as much as they were 20 years ago. It's still the place where they discover new music, like great stations like EHM, not to pat ourselves in the back, but I'm just saying. And really where the effect has been is in sales. People are not buying albums. They're just streaming them instead. So it's pretty significant when one of those companies files to go public. And that's what Spotify did just yesterday. And there's a couple of interesting things here. And I'm curious to know, and I would love your feedback on this. Would you buy Spotify stock? Would you buy Spotify stock? Is this the next Facebook, Google, tech company lifestyle thing, Apple, so on and so forth? Or is this going to be a failure? I honestly have no clue because there's some things where I'm kind of like, oh, that's good. Take all my money, please. And then there's other things where I'm like, well, wait a second. How are you going to right that ship? Like, that doesn't seem right. So the company will begin trading on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker name SPOT, which is pretty cool. According to the company, shares have traded as high as $132.50 a share on private markets, which would give the company a valuation of $23 billion based on ordinary shares outstanding as of February 22nd. So here's a couple of the interesting numbers. Spotify, which is the leading streaming music service, has 71 million paying subscribers right now. They say they have more than 159 million monthly active listeners as of December 2017. It's available in 61 countries and territories. Its closest competitor is Apple Music, which has 36 million subscribers. So just under double Spotify says they have over Apple. And again, you can listen to Spotify. If you're not a subscriber, you have to hear ads. That's the difference. And they say 159 million monthly active users do that. So those are some pretty big, right? Aren't you kind of like, call your wife, call your husband, hun, we should empty out the savings and get Spotify stock. The company reported revenue of $2.37 billion in 2015, $3.6 billion in 2016, and $4.99 billion in 2017. It said paid subscribers are growing at a rate of 46% year over year, while the average listeners are increasing at 29% a year. I know, load up the savings fund, right? Empty it out. Grab that kid's college fund. Say, hold on, fund college, kid. We're going to buy some Spotify stock. Well, not so fast. The company posted a loss of $1.5 billion in 2017, $1 billion of which was from a non-recurring expense due to convertible notes from a transaction with a Tencent in December 2017. It had an operating loss of $461 million last year, $425 million in 2016. So aside from the big one-time expense, they lost $461 million last year. That's crazy. That is a lot of money to lose. It's crazy when you hear a company lost more money in 1 year than you'll ever make in your lifetime. So is this a worthwhile investment? You're going to have to go to somebody smarter than me to figure that out. But I do know that those are very big numbers, and we do know that the music purchasing industry is dying. We talked about Best Buy stopped selling CDs now, and a lot of these other big box retailers aren't going to be selling CDs. It is literally killing the physical music market, and it's starting to impact the downloading music market. So there's obviously a cultural shift happening here. And it's not just with 12-year-olds. You know, the EHM audience is very diverse. We got 12 to 75, and all the way around. And I'm hearing from a lot more of our, over 50 listeners, over 40 listeners, over 30 listeners that are like, yeah, I did stream this, or I am using Alexa and Amazon Music to stream instead of buying. A lot more people are saying it. Again, we talked about Alexa and the Spotify speaker and the HomePod from Apple. Easier ways to consume your music. You can go from listening to EHM to popping over to listening to a full CD. You hear a song, who are those guys? Oh, I haven't heard Robert Palmer in a while. Let me go back and listen to that album. Hey Siri, play blah blah blah, and all that stuff. So it's an interesting thing that's going on here, but it looks like they're going public, and they're not going the IPO route. They're going to set their own price, again based on these private markets, $132 per share. I'm curious to know how you feel about this, and would you go out there and purchase some of these shares? I would love to know that.